Hello everyone, it's Rayna. As you can see, we are in a new environment temporarily, but I still wanted to film this video about panic attacks. We've all heard about them, some of us have experienced them, but I still wanted to cast some more light on the subject and share with you my own experience so you better understand what a panic attack is and how to deal with it. I'll do my best to explain all that in 5 steps, so keep watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and make sure you click on the bell so you get a notification when a new video goes live. Now let's dive in. First, what is a panic attack? It's an intense fear that something bad is going to happen. The body responds physically to the feeling of an imminent threat or danger that isn't really there. Often a panic attack is associated with heart palpitations, dizziness and shortness of breath, and is very often misinterpreted as heart attack. 2. What are more precisely the symptoms of a panic attack? Well, there are 2 types of symptoms, physical and emotional ones. The physical symptoms can be heart palpitations, chest pain, trembling, shortness of breath, nausea, sweating, dizziness, chills, numbness, etc., and the list is non-exhaustive. And the emotional or psychological ones can be fear of death, fear of losing control, feelings of being detached from your body. Now, every person can experience a panic attack differently with a very different set of symptoms. For me, for example, the panic attacks I used to experience were all pretty much the same regarding the symptoms, only the intensity would vary. I would immediately have difficulties to breathe. I would literally struggle to inhale. I would have shortness of breath. My heart would pound in my chest like crazy. I would tremble. I would be nauseous and dizzy, and I would literally lose space orientation if the panic attack occurred outdoors. Every time I had a panic attack, I would think that I will literally lose it. Like, this is it. I'm literally becoming crazy. I remember once after work, it was dark already, so it means it was in winter. I took the wrong bus number. So instead of keep going straight down the main street, it took a right turn and stopped there. All I had to do at that point was to go back a little bit and wait for the correct bus. Instead, I panicked. I crossed the street, searched for another bus. It was a mess. It was like I was teleported in an unknown city. And then a panic attack began. This was maybe my worst panic attack ever. 3. How long does a panic attack last? Well, it really depends. Usually it lasts 15 to 30 minutes, but in some cases it can last for even a few hours. For me, the panic attack itself would last indeed between 10 to 20 minutes, but I'm talking only about the symptoms themselves. But right after the panic attack had passed, this is when I would feel numb, without any emotions. I would literally feel drained emotionally and physically. My boyfriend, who witnessed one of my last panic attacks, told me it was one of the scariest things he's ever saw because of the impressive symptoms and because of how blankly I would stare after the panic attack. I've asked my therapist about that, and she told me that it is absolutely normal to feel numb after a panic attack because it really drains your body and your emotions. 4. Panic attacks have a significant impact on your everyday life. It's first because of how they drain you physically and emotionally, and second because they are unpredictable. Unfortunately, you can't predict when you will have a panic attack, what will trigger it, how violent it will be, or how long it will last. So the problem is that sometimes people tend to avoid going out of fear to experience a panic attack in public, so they isolate themselves at home and prefer staying alone. This thankfully wasn't my case, but I understand how people might feel ashamed or uncomfortable. And this is why it is so important to understand how to deal with a panic attack. So 5, how to treat them. When I had my panic attack I told you about earlier after I took the wrong bus, well, people came to me. I don't even know where they came from. They directly asked me what I needed because I was screaming and feeling nauseous and crying and suffocating. I was a mess. I managed to tell them water so I could take my emergency medication. I remember a guy stopped next to me, got out of his car, and immediately told the crowd around me not to worry, that this is a panic attack and he knows what to do. So he asked me simple questions like, what's my name, what day is it, where I was going, etc. Very calmly, he told me he was having panic attacks for over 5 years and doesn't know how to get rid of them, but at least is a master of dealing with them. So he offered me a ride and we chatted about panic attacks and mental health. Believe me or not, he never ever had considered going to therapy. I told him I was seeing someone for over a year at that time, and I noticed that my panic attacks were less recurrent thanks to therapy. So therapy is the best way to treat panic attacks, since their appearance in your life is very often triggered by some other mental health issue that you might be struggling with. Therapy will help you understand your problems better and deal with it in depth. If you haven't watched my video about therapy, I will link it here for you in the corner and down below in the description box as well. Of course, there are breathing and other relaxation techniques that will help you deal with a panic attack as well. Also, medications such as antidepressants and anxiety medication, prescribed only by a specialist of course, will help you, as well as opening up about it to your family members and friends. People around you will also be able to help you shift your perspective from a catastrophic one to a more realistic one. Have you ever had a panic attack? What were the symptoms you experienced and how have you dealt with it? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful. See you next Monday, and until then, take care of yourselves both physically and mentally. Bye!